On behalf of Lawrence Technological University, I'm delighted to welcome you to our campus. My name is Virendra Modgil. I'm the president and CEO of Lawrence Technological University. Lawrence Tech has long prided itself as a private university with a public good. And we are delighted to provide a meeting site for this very important meeting forum today. This is not the first time that we have had the chance to host leaders aspiring to respond to a higher calling, such as concerns about national security or seeking a higher office. Over 60 years ago, General Douglas MacArthur visited our campus as he considered a bid for elected office. He ultimately decided that facing enemies and forces overseas was easier than dealing with the political climate in Washington. In any case, through hosting visits by men and women seeking to lead our nation and guide us, we appreciate the opportunity for our students, faculty, and friends to learn firsthand from our leaders about America's democratic process and experience a platform for addressing important national issues. We are honored to welcome Governor Kasich today and look forward to hearing his views. I've been asked to start today's forum by leading the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you again. Welcome to Lawrence Tech.
Good afternoon. My name is Bobby Shostak. Many of you know me from past 7 or 8 years where we had a few encounters together. And I have the honor of being the chair of the Michigan chapter for Americans for Peace, Prosperity, and Security, a policy group founded by our very own Congressman Mike Rogers. Unfortunately, Congressman Rogers could not be here today with us. He sends his regrets and of course is going to be watching closely all of these activities, particularly today's. Chairman Rogers founded Americans for Peace, Prosperity, and Security, we call it APPS, because as a former chairman of the Intelligence Committee, he knows better than anyone that the foreign policy challenges facing the next president of the United States on day one will be more complicated than ever before. Understanding the challenges and benefits of American leadership around the globe will be crucial for our next president. National security, international engagement, and the U.S. defense posture will have to be dealt with in the first months of the next presidency. With no time for on-the-job training, the debate must begin now during the nominating process for our next commander-in-chief. Through forums like the one we are hosting today, APPS is working to raise the level of debate, beyond talking points and beyond sound bites. As Congressman Rogers is fond of saying, you can hide behind rhetoric for 5 minutes, but not for an hour. We are also working every day to bring this issue to the forefront to the citizens who will vote for our next president. So when they go to the polls, they have a deep, intimate understanding of the issues and the candidates and the positions they take on those issues. We're going to begin this afternoon by giving me the privilege to welcome our moderator, American Enterprise Institute Senior Vice President for Foreign and Defense Policy Studies, Danielle Pletka. Danielle was a longtime U.S. Senate Committee on Foreign Intelligence senior professional staff member for Near East and South Asia. In that role, Pletka was the point person on Middle East, Pakistani, Indian, and Afghanistan issues. As the Senior Vice President for Foreign and Defense Policy Studies at AEI, Pletka writes on national security matters with a focus on Iran and weapons proliferation, the Middle East, Syria, Israel, and the Arab Spring. She also studies and writes about South Asia, Pakistan, India, and Afghanistan, and is the co-editor of Dissent and Reform in the Arab World, Empowering Democrats, from the AEI Press of 2008, and the co-author of Containing and Deterring a Nuclear Iran, American Enterprise 2011, and Iranian Influence in the Levant, Egypt, Iraq, and Afghanistan, American Enterprise in 2012. Her most recent study, America versus Iran, The Competition for the Future of the Middle East, was published by AEI in January of 2014. Please join me in welcoming Danny to our stage. Our guest was elected the 69th governor of Ohio last year by a 30-point margin. As governor, he turned an $8 billion shortfall into a $2 billion surplus, cut taxes $5 billion, helped Ohioans create 350,000 jobs, and strengthened efforts to reach out to those who need a hand. As chair of the Budget Committee in Congress, he led the effort to balance the federal budget for the first time in a generation. He also served 18 years on the House Armed Services Committee, where he was a strong supporter of President Reagan's national security agenda to end the Cold War and begin reforming the Pentagon. Originally from McKees Rocks, Pennsylvania, a blue-collar town outside of Pittsburgh, Governor Kasich had also had a successful career as an investment banker. He is a New York Times best-selling author and frequently on Fox News. He and his wife, Karen, have twin teenage daughters and live in their home outside of Columbus. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Ohio Governor John Kasich.
Hello. Hello. God, you're impressive. What credentials. Give her a round of applause for her credentials. What a...
I was feeling relieved that I hadn't written anymore after a while. First of all, let me just say thank you, and I know I'm saying this on both our behalves. Thank you so much, first of all, to Lawrence Tech for hosting us here today. Really, the efforts that APS is making in bringing national security conversations around the country, I think, are some of the most important things that will happen and that we'll see happening in the run-up to the election. These are conversations that have to happen because the American public needs to talk about, needs to hear from the candidates about these issues. We're not talking about them enough. And I'm not going to take any more time. I'm going to jump into things with you. You had a terrific piece that was on CNN.com that laid out some of your foreign policy priorities. What was interesting to me was the order in which you laid them out, because I know you're a fiscal hawk, but you put the budget first, before defense spending, before ISIS, before China.
Thank you.
Opportunity for all of us. Lawrence Technical University, thanks for having us. Dr. Brugdahl and hosting us. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope you learned a lot and enjoyed the opportunity getting to know the